Welcome back to the Cool Fear Channel. I'm your host, Jesse the Bat Madrigal, aka the Buff Collector. The information on the channel is intended for adult collectors and not children. And welcome to episode 65 of Coffee and Toys, guys. As always, we will go over this week's channel updates, this week's toy haul, and you guys will not believe how much I paid for this guy, this week's toy news, and of course, so much more. But first, if you're new, then welcome. This channel's all about cool action figures, analyzing them, hunting them, taking pics of them, and of course, playing with them. If that's your sort of thing, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and hit that bell notification icon so you stay notified when I do upload new content. If you do enjoy this video or any other videos that I put out, please remember to give them a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. With all of that out of the way, guys, once again, welcome to episode 65 of Coffee and Toys, guys. Before we get started, I do want to say shout out and thank you to the channel sponsor, Entertainment Earth. Check out my Entertainment Earth affiliate link down in the description below to check out some cool figures and also help support the channel. Oh man, I cannot wait to tell you how much I paid for this guy, but you're gonna have to wait to find that out once we do start talking about the toy haul this week. But before we get into that, we of course need to get into this week's channel updates, which is the same as before. Still trying to get Coffee and Toys live up and running. Just had a really busy week this past week. In fact, the first 2 days of the week I was working a 12-hour shift on a TV show set. So I was actually an extra on a TV show. Don't know really how much I can disclose past that. So hopefully once it all comes out and airs and everything, I can bring it up again and you guys can find out. And you guys can watch my horrible performance. Because even though I was an extra, I was actually behind the main actors for the majority of the time that I was there filming. So you're going to see my dumbass acting in the background quite a bit. But hopefully it doesn't come out too bad. I tried my absolute best, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, they didn't give me any notes. They didn't tell me to act, differently. They didn't tell me why am I acting a certain way. They didn't, the director didn't ever come up to me and say, don't do this, don't do that. So as far as I know, I did what I needed to do, at least to that point. But yeah, so I had a really busy week this week. Wednesday, I basically just caught up on some sleep. And then Thursday, I was a little more productive with toy photography and videos and all that stuff. And so I didn't really have time to schedule Coffee and Toys live. So unfortunately, maybe potentially this coming week, but I'd probably put like a 20% chance on that of it happening this coming week. But when it does happen, we will definitely announce it here on Coffee and Toys before it happens, so that way you guys have a heads up and we'll know once it's returned. So with that being said, the only other real news update for the channel is that this week I am going to attempt to fit in that fourth DTOF right back here. So well, not so much attempt to, because it's gonna have to fit. It's already been purchased, it's already been bought, it's done. So now I just have to decide whether it's gonna go in that corner or if I'm gonna put it here. I know originally I was saying I'm gonna put it in that corner, but I was looking at my display and I have my Sam Raimi display mapped out in that corner cubicle, kind of like I do right here. And when you look at it, you kind of have to duck your head down just a little bit just to see Goblin and Doc a little bit better. And I feel like if I put the messed up cabinet there, it's going to be a lot more noticeable. Whereas if I put it over here on the far side, it's not going to be as noticeable, because with this cube right here, it's a little more put together and you don't have to duck down and you don't have to look, kind of lower your head to look into everything. And so it will still maintain the same pattern because it's a brown DTOF, so I'm going to go white, brown, white, brown. So it still maintains the same pattern, thankfully. So yeah, that's pretty much the only other update for the channel. So hopefully on next week's podcast, it will literally just be a wall of DTOFs right here. Not even, Boba Fett's helmet's going to be there. I'm going to have to purchase some more towel rack holders in order to put up some more of my helmets, because I am definitely running out of space quickly, because I will be purchasing that Phase 2 Clone Trooper helmet very soon as well. I will be purchasing the Biker Scout helmet, and so yeah, it's only a matter of time before they come out with the Phase 1 helmet, which thankfully would just replace the one that I have up there, since that one is from like 2010, 2009, somewhere around that time. So I would update it with a more, Black Series one that's a little more put together, because that one, it was technically a kids one that they just did a hell of a job on, and it just holds up real nicely next to the other helmets. But I wanted it in sequential order to be, Phase 1, Phase 2, Stormtrooper, First Order, and then of course on the very top I'm gonna have the Death Watch helmet because it's kind of close to Django's, but it's also just Mandalorian, and that can be like the theme of it. Like, well, the Mandalorian helmet was obviously the inspiration for the T visor on the Phase One helmet, and so that's why that's there. So yeah, I am gonna have to buy, like, I'm hoping to be able to fit 3 to 4 helmets in this little space that I have. I was thinking of putting a shelf on, and I'm really glad that I did it now because yeah, I'm thinking of just putting 3 or 4 towel racks there. And yeah, that's a real cheap and quick and easy way to do it if you want to hang your helmets up, guys. I would really advise you to stay away from, like, mounted helmet things on Amazon and eBay and wherever you go, that are like 40, 50, $60. Just make sure you get some good anchors, some good screws, and buy some towel racks. The helmets aren't that heavy, unless you're working with like real metal helmets and stuff like that, then yeah. But if you're working with PVC or like Black Series helmets, they can definitely hold up on those towel racks. And mine have been holding up fine, so knock on wood that continues to happen. But yeah, like I said, just make sure you get some good anchors or drill into a stud. But yeah, so I'm just gonna have to figure out how to rework this area. The only other shitty part is that under my display right here, which is on like a bit of a side table, I do have a lot of Mezco boxes, and so I'm gonna have to figure out where those are gonna go and what I'm gonna do with them. I'm probably also gonna have to reconfigure my upper closet space, take some stuff out, throw some boxes out, and make sure only the ones that I absolutely need from Mezco are up there. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting, but we will get through it all. Possibly, hopefully, this weekend. That is the plan, at least, to get that done. But I also do want to try and get at least 3 weeks ahead on my toy reviews and everything. So I got a good jump start on toy photography today. I got a lot done because I had these little odd time slots available in between clients this morning and stuff. It was like an hour, hour and a half. So I didn't really have time to film, the podcast and everything, set everything up and whatnot. So I was really just focusing on doing toy photography. And so I got quite a bit done, and I already have 2 videos that are pretty much done and ready to go. They just had to be edited and put together. And then I have to film one more to fit into that week. And so that would put me at 3 weeks, but I still have to film the first 2 weeks of stuff. So quite a bit of work to do, but we're going to get it done nonetheless. So hopefully this weekend I'll get reviews filmed, edited, and uploaded, as well as reconfigured all this and somehow edited this podcast and had it up and ready by Sunday morning. I do want to apologize for last week not having it up and ready by Sunday morning. Sometimes you let stupid shit get in the way of your life and things you have to do, and so I do apologize for that. But yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of the channel update. So yeah, I look forward to having a new wall of DTOFs, even though it is already a wall of DTOFs. I mean, it's going to be literally a wall edge to edge of DTOF, so that's pretty exciting for me. But the fun part is going to be the lighting. When I finished the lighting on these things, I was like, yes, I'm done. I never think about this again, and here I am putting up 2 more DTOFs. Man, it's crazy. The lighting and everything actually costs more than the DTOFs, so yeah, that's always fun, right? But yeah, also once it's all done, like I said, there is actually going to be one DTOF behind the camera that you won't be seeing. So once I do finish, I'll probably take a photo or a video of it, a B-roll footage of it, so that way I can include it in the podcast one day so you guys can see it. Because it's essentially going to be just what I have on the lower part right here. Well, I'm still debating what I'm going to do. Either I'm going to keep my 112 collective stuff here on the bottom with my Beast Kingdom and just put more Hot Toys in those 3 right there. But I'm debating, what if I'm just really debating. I don't know if I want to do that or if I just want to have my 112 stuff over there, my 1/6 stuff here. I don't know, but I'm gonna have to decide soon because it's gonna be happening this weekend. So yeah, guys, with that being said, why don't we go ahead and talk about the new Batman movie with for some odd reason they're calling it The Flash. But yeah, to me it's totally a new Batman movie. I mean, there was a rumor that you were gonna have more Batman in that movie than you were gonna have Flash. You have 2 Flash, and it was rumored someone else was gonna be coming back as Batman, and so obviously that's been debunked since then. But the fact of the matter is that there was a rumor going out that there was gonna be more Batman in the Flash movie than there were Flash. So to me, it is it's a Batman movie, and especially even if you look at the promo and the marketing of it, they're highly, highly, highly leaning on Batman, especially with the whole Ezra Miller situation, which I personally think is totally double standard. I feel like if anybody else were in their position, they would have gotten fired, they would have gotten let go. Just look at Johnny Depp with just allegations, yet he was literally found guilty, and they still kept him on. So I'm gonna go strictly because Batman's in it, strictly because Ben Affleck's Batman's in it, strictly because Michael Keaton's Batman is in it. Like I said before, I'm not the biggest Michael Keaton Batman fan. Like, he is cool, he's a dope Batman. I give him all the respect. I just don't hold him to the same regards as everybody else does. To me, I would much rather prefer Christian Bale's Batman, Val Kilmer's Batman, Robert Pattinson's Batman, Ben Affleck's Batman. But Michael Keaton was cool, and the movies themselves were absolutely amazing. I mean, true masterpieces, especially from the time that they were made and everything. But I'm also still just interested to see how they're going to handle this. An older Michael Keaton Batman, It's crazy to see how we're not just going backwards in franchises, we're also going backwards in actors. I mean, Harrison Ford is going to be like, what, almost 86 or something like that, and he's coming back as Indiana Jones. I mean, I personally thought he looked really old in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and that came out when I was fucking young. I'm almost 30 at this point, and this movie's going to be coming out. It's like, god damn. I mean, good for him that he's still able to do all that and, move around and be able to perform at that standard, at his age. Kudos to him, because I hope I'm able to do, indie films at that point in my life. But yeah, so I am really interested to see this Flash movie. I obviously, at this point, it's so different than what it was supposed to be when it was first announced, when it was first written up and everything, with COVID stopping it, with the transition of different ownership stopping it and changing it from Zack Snyder being attached to Zack Snyder not being attached to Zack Snyder being somewhat attached to the COVID to Warner Brothers being sold off, and now James Gunn is head, and it's just like, how the hell did this movie even survive? But I guess the fact of the matter is that Michael Keaton's Batman's in it, and they know it's gonna make money, and so they probably told James Gunn, look, it's already done. We've already scrapped some DC films. We scrapped Batgirl. We knew that one wasn't going to perform the best. But this one has Michael Keaton back as Batman. If you want to have the money to start your DCU, you need to have this be the Kickstarter of your universe, so that way it still is able to release and, people go and see it. Because if people feel like it's not going to be any way connected to this new DCU, a lot of people aren't going to go regardless of Michael Keaton being in it. But the fact of the matter is that him keeping it in and saying that it is somewhat connected to the DCU by resetting everything, which technically Flashpoint did in the comic books, so there's precedent for that. He knew, and Warner Brothers knew, that people would bow out if they knew that this would have no connectivity to the future slates. So I'm really interested to see this, and like I said, it's more of a Batman movie than a Flash movie to me. And so I am hyped for the new Batman movie, and I'm even more hyped for the Batman Part 2 coming in 2025, guys. Oh man, that hurts. But at the same time, I would rather them take their time. And, I think we've gone so used to movie after movie coming out, like literally like year after year after year, that we've forgotten how long it used to take for sequels to come out. It used to be 2 to 3 to even 5 years in between sequels. Look at Terminator. Terminator 1 and 2 came out, I think, almost a whole decade after each other. If you look at the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy, each movie came out within 3 years of each other. It wasn't like a year and a year, a year. I remember growing up with those films, going to see Batman Begins as a young kid, seeing The Dark Knight as a young kid, but a little more grown up. I think I was in like 5th or 6th grade, if I'm not mistaken, and then going to see The Dark Knight Rises and being right on the cusp of going to high school and everything, and being like, God damn, what a trilogy. So yeah, really interested to see what they're going to do with this film. Really interested to see how it's going to go about, especially knowing what it was supposed to set up for Zack Snyder's, or Warner Brothers post Zack Snyder's DCEU. So yeah, really excited about that. But let me know down in the comments below, what do you guys think of the new Flash movie? Are you more hyped about the movie overall? Are you more hyped about the first ever Flash film? or are you more hyped about 89 Batman, Michael Keaton coming back? Let me know down in the comments below. But with that being said, why don't we go ahead and move on into this week's toy haul. And man, oh man, guys, you are not gonna fucking believe it. So the story starts off as always. I'm browsing OfferUp, of course, looking to spend money, looking at new quarter scales to buy because the damn NECA quarter scale turtles got me into it. And then I bought a Joker, and I needed a Batman, obviously, so I'm looking, and I saw two other ones that I am gonna get to add to my collection. But once those two are bought, plus the two Batman, plus now Jack Sparrow, I'm done with quarter scales. I prefer the NECA quarter scales to, say, like the Hot Toys ones, because Hot Toys are already difficult to pose and move around as it is with their fabric costumes and soft goods. I can only imagine what a quarter scale is to pose. And plus, those would require me to put in a DTOF because of the soft goods, and that would require me to get those things that allow me to move the shelves up and down and just invest more into these DTOFs that I really don't want to do. And so at least with these ones by NECA, they're hard plastic, they're highly detailed, and they look amazing, but they are the hard plastic, so I can just dust them off real quick. It's not like the clothes where you have to brush them, dust them, vacuum them up a bit, and do a lot more care and maintenance with those. So that's why I am personally staying away from the quarter scales. Plus, the ones I want are like Mando, Heath Ledger's Joker, Dark Knight, and they're all pretty fucking pricey, so I'm good on that. As it is, I am already spending a lot on Hot Toys and 1/6 figures, and I have so many more on the list that I want to get to help complete this collection. And that's not even that many, like, in terms of like people that collect Hot Toys and stuff. Like, they're so deep in the collection. I feel like I'm so deep, and I'm not even that deep in. I have like maybe like 6 or 7 that I'm trying to complete, but there are some people that are into everything that Hot Toys releases, and that's incredible for them. But yeah, like I said, I mapped everything out, kind of put everything into cubes, and there's a few that I need to spend some money on, like the Batman display with Riddler right here. I'm gonna get another third-party Riddler figure because I saw a review that actually showed me that it's actually a better version, and it's not really a waste with this character, with this figure, because the other one looks a little closer to Dano in look and appearance and fit of the suit and the dirtiness and dinginess and the weathering in the clothing, whereas this one looks more akin to the henchmen that appear at the end, where they bought this stuff brand new and just threw it on for that event. And he does come with the rifle so that you can display him either as the henchman or as Riddler, so that's going to fit into the Batman display. Obviously, I got to get the Batman, and I'm going to get the one with the bat signal, and that itself is about $500, and that should be dropping somewhere between April and May of this year. Damn, it's crazy to think the Batman dropped almost a fucking year ago. I mean, that was like, what, the second week of March that it dropped? Damn, that's crazy to think too, because that was literally the last time I went to the movie theaters was to see the Batman. It wasn't the opening day, because I saw it 3 days prior to the opening day, the day after opening day, and then I saw it a few more times. But I'm just saying, I haven't been back to the theaters to see any movie since the Batman. But that's going to change actually today, because I will be going to see Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So hopefully it's a decent movie. A lot of mixed reviews coming out of it. I'm just hoping for an entertaining film that doesn't put me to sleep. That's all I'm asking for. I've heard Kang is amazing, so I'm hoping that in itself pushes me through the whole movie. And I really hope Paul Rudd is great in it too. I hope, I personally love Paul Rudd, so I always look forward to his performances and everything. And so I'm really hoping that everything that has to do with more storyline than him and his character and his acting, because that's what I've heard. A lot of the mixed reviews are more based off like stuff that doesn't have to do with the actors themselves. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't want to spoil anything. So with that being said, I need to add to that. I need to add to my Batman Forever shelf. I don't think I will ever buy Robin. That's a very hard one to buy for me personally, because I just don't like Robin. And as much as that movie means to me, and that Robin would be the one and only Robin I would ever consider, it's probably at the bottom of my list to buy, even below Mando Boba Fett, even though I have a Mythos Boba Fett. And that's why Mando Boba Fett is on the very bottom of my list, because I already have a Boba Fett on my Mando shelf. So Robin from Batman Forever would be on my very bottom list as well. However, they are making a third-party Riddler figure, and they do have a third-party Two-Face figure that just came out recently that it's not the best. It doesn't have the best features and stuff, being a third party and being their first figure in terms of the body. However, the sculpt and the look of it does look really good, and it would fit in really nice with that Batman. So I may have to just jump in and get him because I need Batman, I need Riddler to complete the Batman Forever look right here. And I think Nightmare Batman and Superman can stay back there by themselves. I may or may not pick up a blue suited Superman Henry Cavill figure. Eventually, I'm really thinking about it. We'll see. In terms of the Arkham shelf, I just have to add Harley and Joker. Oh no, they just released the XE suit too, huh? So I need the XE suit, Harley, and Joker. So that's gonna be a fun bill. And then under my comic Batman, I do want to try and find a Bane, a comic style Bane to fit in there. So hopefully I can fit that in. I will also be having a Dark Knight shelf. So obviously they just announced Bane. So talking about Bane, I gotta get him, but that won't be released until next year, thankfully. They just recently re-released Two Face about 3 years ago, so I'm thinking about double dipping back into getting that guy, so that way I can have Two Face. And I'm even thinking of getting the brand new in art Heath Ledger Joker to pair up with this Hot Toys Dark Knight, which is pretty much number one on my list right now because I really want to get my hands on him and buy him because he is selling out quickly everywhere else. I just on this website I'm just like iffy if they're gonna come through or not. So I'm asking around and stuff. Let me know down in the comments below. Have you guys had any experience with Toys of Wonderland? I've heard good things, I've heard bad things. Let me know down in the comments below. Are they a trustworthy store or not? So taking a look at the movie cube right here, I will be adding a Barbossa third party 1/6 figure back there. And then I will actually be buying 007 James Bond Daniel Craig figures. I'm going to be getting 3, his tactical suit from No Time to Die, his casual wear suit that he wears throughout most of the movie, and then also him in a tuxedo. So that's 3 more to add. And I'm sure eventually they will release Back to the Future Part 2, Marty and Doc. And so obviously Part 3 is already going to be getting released pretty soon. So those will fit in right here on this cube right here. I am also going to be getting a third party Top Gun Maverick figure. So he'll be fitting in up there. But now that I think about it, I'm thinking I'm going to... See, my original thought process was that Indy kind of fits better with Jack Sparrow because it's like adventure clothing and he's adventure and stuff. Even though they're different time periods, they're kind of pirates together in a sense. But now I'm thinking 80s. So I'm thinking Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, and Top Gun all on one shelf. Whereas I'll move Daniel Craig's James Bond to the front right here in front of Johnny Depp's Jack Sparrow and Barbossa. So that's the plan for that shelf. In terms of my Mando Imperial Trooper shelf, I just need to get the Death Trooper, which is still available in the special edition Chrome on Sideshow, thankfully, as well as the Incinerator Trooper. Taking a look at my Sam Raimi, that is complete. Taking a look at my Clone Troopers, I'm thinking about getting the Coruscant Guard just to fill it in, and I will eventually get a regular white Phase 1 Clone Trooper. My comic book Spidey one is complete. And I'm even thinking of starting a completely new Star Wars Jedi and Sith shelf. So that's what I'm saying. I'm really having to decide and debate where I want these to go. So I can either put these 2 over there with my Beast Kingdom, and then my Ninja Turtle quarter scale baby turtles display on the bottom. And then I could put my Jedi and Sith right there where the Beast Kingdom is. I don't know. So it's a lot to go over and stuff. But yeah, I'm going to have to rework and buy a bunch of different stuff. But anyways, getting back to this week's toy haul. Yeah, I was parading on OfferUp, seeing what was available. Like I said, looking for quarter scales for decent prices. And lo and behold, this guy came across my feed, and I was actually pretty excited because no, it is not Jack Sparrow, but it's someone even better. It's his dad. And who played his dad in the movie? Well, none other than the great rock star Keith fucking Richards. So I am a huge Rolling Stones fan. I absolutely love them, and Keith obviously being, the guitarist, has been with them since the start. It's 2 in 1, guys. It's literally a giant Keith Richards figure and a Pirates figure. So yeah, I had to jump on it. And here is the kicker, guys. Here is the motherfucking kicker. The guy was asking for this figure, which The sticker was actually still in the box, so his mom actually gave it to him. So his mom paid $60 back when this figure was released. It is now going for about $80 to $100 on the secondary market. This guy had him listed for the astonishing price of $10. That's right, guys, 10 motherfucking dollars. But you guys know me. I don't pay full price on OfferUp. So of course, I had to try my hand. And I mean, how much lower do you go than $10? Like you can't go much further down. I mean, unless you're gonna say, can I just pick them up for free? So I offered him $5. And he fucking took it. So I literally paid $5 for a quarter scale NECA figure, brand new, out of the box. Like literally the tape was still sealed up and everything, like brand fucking new. $5 for a quarter scale NECA figures, guys. I mean, that has to be by far the greatest deal I have ever found on OfferUp. I mean, there's been some deals I found, but I mean, the Short Trooper that goes for about 180, I think I bought him for like 120, 140. But I mean, this guy, $5, $5 fucking. Shout out to that guy. Shout out to that guy. But yeah, so this is the quarter scale NECA Toys Jack Sparrow father figure right here. Obviously he has a name, Captain something, but I just don't really remember it. I just know he's Keith Richards, and I just noticed he has a pull tab on the back because he is supposed to make sounds and everything. But I think I'm gonna leave that in. I don't really want him activated and making noise and sounds and creepy stuff like that. But yeah, guys, so that is pretty much it for this week's toy haul. Just this giant guy. I will possibly have 2 more here on the table next week because I am still in contact with a guy that has the Batman one for a decent price, and unfortunately he's about an hour away. Thankfully though, my dad went down to San Diego this weekend, and last time when he was coming up, the guy wasn't available to meet up with him on his way back so that he can purchase it from me. However, this week I already confirmed that the guy's available on Saturday when my dad will be coming back, so hopefully they can link up and I can finally get a quarter scale Batman in my collection for an amazing price too. Not $5 amazing, unfortunately, but still an absolutely amazing price considering that this one's going from anywhere. Well, I mean, there's one that I've seen for 180 locally, but there's also ones that are sold by other people that are going for $300-400, and I'm gonna be getting this for an astonishing price as well. So looking forward to that, and I am also looking at 2 Arnold Schwarzenegger NECA ones. So I'm sure you know which ones they are. If you know which ones they made, which I'll just tell you guys, it's the Predator Dutch as well as the T2 T800. So those 2 plus Arkham Origins Batman, Arkham Knight Batman, and now Jack Sparrow, and my quarter scale collection will be complete. So with that being said, guys, why don't we go ahead and move on into this week's toy news. Alright, guys, so kicking off this week, of course, as always, my favorite toy company, Mezco Toys. And in fact, before we get into this news, because it's even bigger news than anything that they could have announced this week, bigger than anything they could have solicited orders or shown off for their Mezco Toys fair this week, is the fact that they are going to begin shipping Batman 89, guys. Yes! After 3 whole years of people that put in their pre-order waiting, it has finally come time for them to get their Batman 89 figures. I personally did not pre-order it. However, my friend Robert did, and he sent over a screenshot that I will put up right here right now, showing me the email that he got by Mezco saying that they will begin processing orders soon. So if you pre-ordered it, and if you've moved since, because it's been 3 years, I would go and log into your account and make sure everything's up to date, because Batman 89 is finally being released, guys. Man, oh man, what are you guys going to complain about now? What is the toy collecting community going to complain about now that Batman 89 is going to be getting into the hands of the people that pre-ordered it? Probably how bad it is or how much it could have been improved and blah, blah, blah. I mean, I don't know. I really think it's going to be the most scrutinized figure in history because it's taken so long to get to the hands of collectors. So I really, 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 really fucking hope that it is one of the best figures that Mezco ever produces. Even though I don't have a figure, I don't have a pre-order. Although I have heard that waitlist is converting. I don't really need a Batman '89 Mezco figure. I don't need it. I have the Beast Kingdom one, which is perfectly good for me. I think that's a phenomenal figure. Does it have its issues? Yes. However, in terms of toy photography, I don't think I would ever really shoot the Michael Keaton Batman. That would just be a display piece for me. And if that was the case, I would rather get the reissued Hot Toys version that was just announced, which we will definitely be talking about later on, getting ahead of myself. But I'm content with the Beast Kingdom one because, like I said, even though it has its issues, it's more of a display piece for me than a toy photography tool. I do have a shot in mind now that the Keaton Batman movie is going to be coming out. And so I will probably be pulling him out of the display to do that shot, but it's very limited articulation that I need for him to pull out, and so I think he will look phenomenal in that shot, but it's not like I'm going to be putting him into any action poses, or I want to be putting him into any action poses and making him front and center. I very much enjoy the very openness of the Mezco Batmans that we've gone, where it's not really a specific Batman. Like, I don't have a Ben Affleck Mezco Batman. I wish I had a Mezco Nightmare Batman. I had the opportunity to get one for a phenomenal price, and I passed up on it. But, it is what it is. I have a Hot Toys version, so that's even better. But, it would have still been cool to have the Nightmare version in Mezco form. But, yeah. So, Batman '89 is finally coming into the hands of those of you that pre-ordered it. So, hurrah, hooray. What are we going to complain about now? But besides that, the other announcement that they did make for their 112 collective line during their Mezco Toy Fair is the new G.I. Joe Firefly figure. So he will be the next Joe coming into the Mezco 112 collective line. However, in terms of 112 collective news, that's pretty much it for this week. I mean, up until that, I felt like it was very lackluster. But when I got that screenshot of that email, I mean, now we should be throwing a party. We should be making this a national holiday. The day it literally starts hitting people's doors should just be a national holiday in the toy collecting community, in my opinion, since we've made such a hoopla about it for the past 3 years. But with that being said, guys, why don't we go ahead and move on to some NECA news? Because right before I started filming, we got some promo images and some information on Donnie's teleporter. So that will be going up for pre-order at the NECA store on 2/21. I believe that is next week, guys. So if you are a fan, if this is something that you need, be ready, because the pre-order goes up on 2/21. This is actually something that I am going to be able to pass up on. Will I regret it later on down the line when they do give us the playsets and the dioramas? Yeah, definitely. I probably will. But honestly, it would probably be more of a background filler piece for me, and I have plenty of that stuff in my collection at this point, and I just, you have to look at these things as tools when you're a toy photographer. When you're a collector that's just collecting because you have a nostalgic tie to it, like I've stated before, if this was the 2003 Ninja Turtle series, I'd be 100% all in buying anything and everything that they put out. However, this is the 80s series, and like I've stated before, I never really saw it until I literally got older as an adult in the last 2-3 years. I've always known about it. I've always been a Turtles fan, but I've watched the movies and the 2003 series, and up until 2020 I never saw the 2012 series. It wasn't until I discovered this app on my TV that gave me free cable or channels, and they had a full Ninja Turtle channel, and it would literally play episodes from the 03 series and the 2012 series, and kind of mixed up and jumbled up. So I was in it for the 2003 series, but then I would end up watching the 2012 series because it was on next, and then it'd be like, oh, 2003 is next. And so I just continue watching, and I actually really do enjoy that show, but no nostalgia tied to it. And so if they were to make figures, I probably wouldn't buy those figures. However, if they were to make the 2003 figures, I'm definitely all in. So this is something I'm going to pass on, but I know a lot of people are excited for this and have been waiting for it, especially my friend Robert. He's all in on that line, so I'm super excited for him to be finally getting this piece. Now, I will be purchasing the dioramas. Those are always great to have, especially since I do have the actual turtle figures themselves. It makes sense for me to have somewhere to display them and stuff, because yes, I can use my street scene dioramas for toy photography and whatnot, but they aren't cartoonish. They're more realistic, lifelike, which works for the majority of my toy photography, which you can just throw in there with the cartoon turtles. It doesn't look too bad. It fits. It fits. But after seeing their cartoon animated style, street scene diorama, and then Extreme Sets technically kind of put their own out there too. So there's always potential for me to buy that one as well. But having, like, say, the sewer layer, the Technodrome, and stuff like that, it's going to be fun to have no matter how big of a fan you are or how long or how attached to that show is. Just having that diorama is going to be super cool. I didn't buy the turtle van. I think NECA did say that they're going to have a small amount for sale when it does come into production and everything. Well, it's already in production, but when they do get stock in, and I may just pull the trigger then just to have a turtle van. Although I am saving up for the DeLorean, because part of my new display idea is that the one that I have behind here, I do want to put the DeLorean on the top. So currently I do have, like, say, the Batmobile right here. I have another Batmobile up on top. I kind of want to buy the DeLorean and put it up there. But that's a big purchase. That's a big investment. So gotta save up. And then I still have to purchase a separate Marty McFly to put in there, because of course you got to put Marty in there. You can't just have the DeLorean. And I don't want to split up Marty and Doc from here, so I'm going to have to buy another Marty. Although at that point, I'm thinking about buying the third-party Boy Through Time in order to just save a little bit of money. And he'll be a little harder to see since he'll be up there in the DeLorean, and so you won't... Oh, not to say that's not a bad figure. It is a phenomenal figure and looks actually quite well next to the Hot Toys one. Yeah, so I don't know, that's just another thought process in my mind. But with that being said, guys, that's pretty much it for this week's NECA news. So why don't we go ahead and move on into McFarlane Toys. So real quick before we get into the new announcements, the Dark Knight Trilogy Wave is up for pre-orders now. Check it out all over different retailers, Target, Amazon, all sorts of different stuff. This will definitely be one I'm picking up in terms of entirety. I mean, it's the Dark Knight. Well, it's the Dark Knight Trilogy, but it's the Dark Knight. So super awesome, super excited about that. So last week they did announce a Platinum Mr. Freeze version, which I did kind of include in my toy news, but I had it written down in my notes. I just happened to skip through it for some reason. But yeah, so they did release a Platinum version on the McFarlane Toy Store, which I believe is now sold out. However, it looks okay in my opinion. I guess this was more for like the McFarlane Toys collectors, and I haven't really looked to purchase any McFarlane toys on the secondary market in quite some time. I actually can't even remember what was the last one I actually looked on the secondary market for. I have always just been able to find them in stores or Amazon. Even if they go out of stock, they tend to go into restock, and they even tend to sit on shelves for quite some time. So I couldn't remember, but I can't even think now at what figure I wanted to see if they had it on secondary market for cheap. But those McFarlane DC Multiverse prices, they're quite up there on some of the figures that I was really shocked and surprised. So I guess that Platinum Mr. Freeze version was for those people. But yeah, if you wanted that option, he may go back into stock. I don't know, but go ahead and check back if that's something you are interested in. Now for a few Target exclusives that Todd did announce. Starting off with Impulse. I guess he's another form of the Flash. I guess Todd thought to strike while the iron's hot with the Flash movie and just try to release a few more Flash out there that people aren't too aware of. And maybe if you release them before the movie, people may assume that they're in the movie, so they're going to pick them up. But I don't know. That could just be me and my marketing mind working. So the next figure he announced is a part of the new year-long Build-A-Figure wave. So if you didn't know, Todd likes to do this year-long Build-A-Figure wave where he releases a new figure every quarter, and at the end of the year, you have the full wave along with the Build-A-Figure. And so this year's Build-A-Figure is Cyborg. Now, we have already gotten Cyborg in the McFarlane DC Multiverse line, but in the Teen Titans animated style. This is a more comic, realistic, McFarlaneized Cyborg figure. And with it being a Build-A-Figure, it is a larger Cyborg figure as well. Now, the first figure to come with this Cyborg Build-A-Figure in this year-long Build-A-Figure wave is, of course, Flashpoint Project Superman. We've already seen photos and teases of Flashpoint Aquaman, which is now known to be in this line, probably the next figure down the line. but the first one that they're going to be getting started with, or maybe it's the second one, I don't know, because it's already 2 months into the year. But Project Superman is in this year's year-long Build-A-Figure wave. Another little mini line that they are starting up in the DC Multiverse line, which, damn you, Todd, you got me, man, you got me. Is the new Jokerized line. So where he will take figures he's already previously released and just kind of Jokerizes them, adds a little Joker flair to them, and re-releases them, and we all buy him up because they look cool. And Batman's cool by himself, Joker's cool by himself. You put the two together, it's like having a peanut butter sandwich and then a jelly sandwich, and then you're just like, you just know people are going to fucking eat that shit up. So yeah, that's coming up. And that's pretty much it in terms of the McFarlane Toys news. So once again, right before I started filming, Four Horsemen's made a announcements. Now, we don't ever really talk about Four Horsemen's here on the channel, but this time we are, because last October they released their Figuar Obscura Headless Horseman figure, and it turned out to be one of the best figures of 2022. When I first saw it, I thought it was a phenomenal figure, but I was like, you know what? No, I cannot buy that. It just doesn't really fit anywhere in my collection. And then it came out, it got into the hands of collectors, and it was just an absolutely phenomenal figure. And I started looking at my collection, and I was like, well, I have the classic Universal Horror NECA figures, which, I mean, no, it's not a classic Universal Horror monster, but it is a classic horror monster that can fit in on that shelf at least, with those other figures that I do already have. You know, I was thinking before, like, I don't really have a dedicated horror or monster line. And if anything, this would actually fit better with the Universal Classic Monsters, because they're classic monsters, opposed to, say, like Freddy and Jason, Leatherface, Michael Myers, Ghostface. You know, if I had those figures, it really wouldn't fit in with that, because it's more of a classic horror film or a classic horror monster, rather than a modern day one. Whereas with Frankenstein, the Mummy, the Wolfman, and eventually the Creature from the Black Lagoon and Dracula, this will fit in quite well. And on top of that, it is slightly different in the paint apps, with it being also different in color, but also being glow in the dark. And you guys know me, green is my absolute favorite color, and this has green flames on it with green hooves on the... Take my money, Horseman. Take my fucking money, which is ironically green too, so you would think I would hate giving it away, but that's like the easiest thing for me to let go of. So moving on to some Marvel Legends news, guys. As I always say, guys, Marvel Legends cannot go a week without giving us a new reveal, even if it's just one. But in this one, it is multiple in a sense, because they did announce their brand new Tracksuit Mafia figure. And the reason I say multiple is because it actually comes with 3 separate head sculpts. So you get the main one and 2 extra ones, so that way you can army build these guys. And to help army build, they do also include a number of weapons, being the Molotov cocktail, a bat, a machete, a crowbar, and a golf club. So yeah, a really cool army builder. Even if you aren't building a Tracksuit Mafia, just having some basic guys in tracksuits, I feel like that's going to be a real appeal to a lot of people, just even if you aren't a Marvel Legends collector, because even I'm like, that's just street thugs for Batman to fight, in my opinion. So that's a very dangerous thought crawling into my head, because I do need some street thugs for my Batman figures to fight. Oh, why do I do this? When I first wrote this news down, I had no idea that my mind would go down this rabbit hole, but now it is, and I'm like, fuck, now I need this figure. And you guys know me, I don't collect Marvel Legends, but now I have it in my mind that these can just be basic street thugs. My only issue is you get 3 heads and 1 body, so if you buy multiple bodies, you're just going to have a shit ton of heads, which is good and bad, but you see the conundrum I'm in. I mean, and I got 1/6 to buy, and I got quarter scale to buy. Oh man, good thing is it looks like this is going to be a while until this comes out, so I have some time to save up for that. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much it in terms of Marvel Legends news. Like I said, they have to at least get one thing out, or else they aren't going to survive. Moving on to some Super 7 news, because Wave 1 of The Simpsons is just hitting collectors' hands, and they just announced Wave 4. So it's seeming like Super 7's fixing their issues with their figures, because it seems like a lot of people are happy with the Simpsons figures. They are saying that the joints are a bit tighter on these figures and not as loose as, say, the Ninja Turtles and previous figures, like the Worst and everything. So yeah, hopefully they can continue on with that. However, they did have a blunder with Moe's apron not being included when it should have been. Thankfully, they're going to be sending that out to everybody that purchases it. But I mean, you know, you were already on the fence with the loose joints. I mean, you made up for it with making them a bit tighter, but now you forget the apron. Come on, Super 7, do better, do better. I'm just busting their balls. But anyways, Wave 4 of the Simpsons Super 7 line will include Devil Flanders. This is a take on him from the Treehouse of Horror episode. It seems like they're going with a lot of obscure versions of these characters first before giving us mainline ones, because I feel like they want us to be in deep, so that way when they do finally come out with those mainline ones, we're just like, well, fuck, we have to get that. Well, not me, because I haven't purchased any of these. I like The Simpsons. It was a great show for a long time. I just have absolutely no need for a Simpsons collection, in my opinion. I just not going to take up shelf space in my collection. But we are also going to be getting a Radioactive Man, which I have to admit, out of all of the figures, I mean, him and El Bardo would probably have been the ones I would have gone. Plus Poochie. Poochie's pretty cool. Just a chill dog. I mean, oh, man, why didn't I get Poochie? Maybe if I see him on sale, I'll get Poochie. But yeah, so Radioactive Man will be coming with this wave, as well as King Size Homer. So this is when Homer gets even fatter than what he already is, because he's working from home and everything. So that's a very interesting character to go with. And last but not least, we do have Drederick Tatum, the not Mike Tyson character from The Simpsons. So Devil Flanders and Radioactive Man will set you back 55 apiece. However, King Size Homer and Drederick Tatum are larger figures, so those will be 65 apiece respectively. Moving on to some 1/6 news, because along with the new Flash trailer, we got some new Hot Toys announcements. Not so much a new Hot Toy, but a reissue, or even a re-upgraded issue, being the 1989 Michael Keaton Batman figure. Yes, we are getting this guy back in the line in an updated form with separate rolling eyeballs, so that whole broken one doesn't mess around with it, because apparently that had been an issue, as well as the suit and the cape and everything. It looks like they've revamped this figure, and it's looking to be a phenomenal release. Once again, not really what I need in my collection. Same thing with the newly announced reissued Batmobile. A phenomenal Batmobile. Do not get me wrong. However, it's not the Batmobile that I would be adding to my 1/6 scale collection. If anything, I will be adding the Batman one. I don't know why I pointed it there. There's no the Batman reference besides Riddler. But the Batman, that one's not even in frame. I don't know what I'm doing. But so that's really the only one that I would think to add. Aside from that one, I've probably never been too big on the other Batmobiles, besides maybe the new Ben Affleck one. That one's really nice. I am really mad that I missed out on the 1/12 scale one that was released. That was like highly detailed with lights and everything. But I would add the Batman Batmobile. Is just such an amazing looking Batmobile. I'm looking to add the DeLorean, and that's pretty much it in terms of vehicles in my 1/6 scale collection. I just don't have the space for them, and so having those two iconic vehicles, the Batmobile and the DeLorean, is enough for me in my personal collection. But if you missed out on the 89 Batmobile and Keane way back in the day, and those are your guys, keep a lookout. But the Batmobile will set you back about $800. But I mean, that's basic price for any 1/6 scale vehicle at this moment. So yeah, because even the DeLorean at this point is $800. So yeah, they're pricey. So with that being said, guys, why don't we go ahead and move on into the final bit of news, Diamond Select. So shout out and thank you to my friends over at Diamond Select, especially their marketing manager, Zach Oat, for sending me all the information and images for this new section. So starting off with their brand new in-stock section, they did get in their Cobra Kai All Valley box set. So you will get Danny LaRusso as well as the other guy. I've seen the Karate Kid multiple times. In fact, I've actually even been to where they filmed the golf set, the mini golf part of the film. That was actually, I actually had my birthday party there. I went to school down the street from there when I was younger, and that was actually a big thing for us to go to. not even knowing that it was in the Karate Kid. But yeah, I've been to golf and stuff in real life. I've had my birthday party there. So yeah, that is now in stock. You do get 2 figures. Like I said, you get Danny LaRusso and the bad guy. Just can't remember his name right now, unfortunately, but that will run you $40. The second thing that they just got in stock is the brand new Gallery Statue comic style Vulture. This will run you $60, and this looks absolutely phenomenal. It looks just like the comic book version of Vulture, and green's my favorite color, guys, and it's basically a guy in all green, so obviously I'm going to think it looks absolutely phenomenal. Now let's go ahead and talk about their new pre-orders, because they did have a few new pre-orders this week, starting off with their Dungeons & Dragons Minimate box set. So if you are a Dungeons & Dragons fan, it is coming to the Minimate line. This will set you back $50. They do have a new X-Men animated style Beast 1/7 scale mini bust coming to their X-Men animated series line, and that will set you back $80. They do also have a brand new Marvel animated style Moon Knight statue. That will set you back $60. Next up, coming to their Marvel Select line, which is a phenomenal line, which, in my opinion, outdoes Marvel Legends in a lot of ways. Sue Storm is coming to that line, so look out for that. Pre-orders for her are up, and she is going for $30. Next up, we have some new Vinimates, not Minimates, but Vinimates. These are slightly larger, and that is because these are the new Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Series 12 Megazord and Dragonzord Vinimates. Super awesome to see. These will cost you $35. We are getting a brand new Casca Reeves 1/6 scale mini bust, and she looks absolutely phenomenal. Her and Bo-Katan are some of my favorite Mandalorians. I cannot wait to add her to my Hot Toys collection, but this mini bust will set you back $130. Next up, we are getting a Clone Wars animated style Cad Bane 1/6 scale 1/7 scale mini bust as well. This will also set you back $130. The last mini bust we are getting is a Rebel Sabine Wren mini bust, which will set you back $150. So this one is $20 more than Casca Reeves and Cad Bane, but still looks phenomenal nonetheless. Now the final one that we do have to announce is one that I am most excited about. I did actually have it on pre-order, but then they canceled it and said it's going to be coming out at a later date at a higher price point, and that it did, because originally I had pre-ordered it for, I believe, $40 or $50, and now it is clocking in at a whopping $75, but it still looks amazing, and you know my ass is still going to pre-order it, because it is the brand new Diamond Select Gallery Statue Last Ronin statue. This thing looks absolutely phenomenal. Like I said, you know I am going to be buying this even with the price increase, because that storyline, that franchise just means so much to me. So yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of the toy news, guys. So that wraps it up for this week's toy news. So as always, guys, I almost dropped my coffee all over myself. But as always, guys, thank you so much for joining me for this week's episode of Coffee and Toys. As always, shout out and thank you to my friends over at Diamond Select for providing that information. And of course, as always, shout out and thank you to the sponsor of this channel, Entertainment Earth. Check out my Entertainment Earth affiliate link down in the description below to check out some cool figures and help support the channel. With that being said, guys, that wraps it up for this week's episode. Like I said, hopefully next week we'll have 2 more quarter scales. Hopefully we'll have Coffee and Toys live in the books. And hopefully we'll have the new Wall of DTOFs right behind me. But until then, guys, as always, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend time with me here talking some toy news this week. As always, I've been your host, Jesse the Bat Madrigal, a.k.a. The Buff Collector. And as always, have a great fucking day. Thank you so much for sticking to the end of this video. If you enjoyed those pics, you can find the full images over on Instagram at Cool Figures. And I do also have a separate Instagram account for my more thought out, planned out, more edited pics called Epic Shots by Cool Figures. Check it out. If you like what you see, leave me a follow there as well. And if you guys like unboxings, check me out over on TikTok at Cool Figures. That's where I post all of my unboxings. And check me out every Sunday for Coffee and Toys, a weekly Toy News Toy Talk podcast where we will go over all the latest and great toy news, reveals, pre-orders, weekly toy haul, and so much more. And join me every Wednesday over on Instagram for Coffee and Toys Live, where I will speak to a new guest every week about toys, toy hunting, toy photography, and so much more. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to listen to me talk about toys. I really do appreciate it.